I feel like I've been so much more effective the last few days. I've been sleeping like 11 hours a night, but I feel like I'm really getting a lot of stuff done. Anyways, back here at storage, and I have grabbed the Bounder tires. I also have the spacers that are in there. Since I destroyed the bolts that were on there, I'm probably going to buy some new ones. I do not know how long they are supposed to be, so I'm gonna have to go back, pull the thing apart, and use my eyeballs to figure out how long they need to be, and then probably go to a hardware store. Luckily there's one nearby. But we're gonna have these tires on here soon, and I know these don't have nearly as much rolling resistance as those Carlisle snowblower tires, and also they're bigger in diameter. Something else I noticed last night that was interesting too, after I charged the chair back up, by the way, after our trip yesterday, it took about 4 hours to charge, so that was pretty quick. I took the thing out in the middle of the night to go to a convenience store.
Too bright.
And holy cow, it was faster. It was snappy, it had good acceleration. So I don't know, I mean, lithium batteries don't have memory, but, and I don't know, the chair was in a storage unit, so maybe the battery pack was frozen, which I know it can take 24 to 48 hours for those packs to heat up. So I don't know if the thing just needed to be used, but it seems to be more peppy. So I don't know. We're gonna put these things on here, and we're gonna do a little more running around and see what we figure out. Right now, with those tires that are on there, I can speculate maybe 25 to 30 mile range, assuming that the battery consumption is linear, and also that I do have 100 amp hours available to use. Because when I charge it back up, it went clear up to 100 amp hours and cut off. So that gauge is accurate, and we did use 40 amp hours yesterday going about 10 miles. So there was some hills involved. I don't know. Overall goal is to figure out what our range actually is, but it's gonna take, I don't wanna just hop in the thing and go nuts. I wanna like kind of be smart about it and not get stuck somewhere. So anyways, I think we're ready to screw around some more with this chair. Well, fast forward a little bit. I've swapped the original off-road tires back onto this chair. As you can see, they're a little bit wider. Installed a pouch for the GPS here. And yeah, so this chair actually moves at a decent speed now. It's about 6.8 miles an hour on average. Slower uphill, faster downhill. But I think, yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and get those rear sprockets for this thing and see if we can bump the speed up a little bit more. I am noticing though that the controller pulling up hills will max out at 50 amps. So I think that's our limiting factor for uphill climbing on this thing. But the increased speed, well, so the hill climbing speed right now is actually the same as my top speed was with the other tires. So I think I was right. I think we have a little bit more leftover torque available on the motors. So it'll be interesting when I swap the other gears on here to see if it slows down any more. I think we should be about the same going up hills, just roughly based on the data I've seen from the amp meter over here and the overall speeds I've been going with these bigger tires. But we're definitely getting somewhere. Once we get the speed figured out, then we can get the range figured out. Because right now I'm guesstimating based on that little gauge, I'm probably gonna get somewhere around 25 or 30 miles roughly, but that's making a lot of assumptions. But anyways, we're definitely making progress. Free shoes. I have no idea where this goes, but we're gonna find out. Well, there's that thing. Uh-oh. I don't really want to get my tires all muddy. This looks like it might be kind of soft over here. Yeah. Well, I guess there is a bicycle wash in the place I'm at, so I'm gonna, screw it, we'll just go for it. Oh yeah, no problem. That'll do. I think we might have reached the end of the line here for wheelchair access. Yeah, about that. Oh, whoa, that's a wooden pipe. Weird. Well, I guess we'll go back from whence we came. Hopefully I can get through that little muddy patch a second time without a problem. There's a little pathway right here behind me that goes down to the river. Unfortunately with this bounder, it's kind of tall and narrow, and there's a bit of a cross slope right there, so I don't think that would be a safe thing for me to do in this chair by myself. It goes down to the water's edge there. Now, if I was in the V6, that would be no problem. I would totally do that on my own. But this thing, it's a little tall, and cross slopes are a little dangerous. So, we'll save that for a later time. By the way, I do still have the V6. I think I'm just gonna hang on to it. I paid $15,000 for that chair, like a year and a half or 2 years ago. And from what the looking around I've been doing on eBay, I don't even think I can get $6,000 for it on eBay. So I'm probably just gonna hang on to it. I just can't take that big of a loss on it. Plus, it actually has some benefits. I lowered the seating on it, so it's really low to the ground. So for stuff like that, it would be great because it has a low center of gravity. But in case you're wondering about that chair, it's in storage for the time being. I need to replace the batteries on it right now. It'll only go about 2 miles before they're dead. But it is still in the fleet. All right, let's head back here. That was a little bit soft. All right, we're good. Looks like there might be a trail on that side of the bridge. I'm gonna go over there and check that out. I don't know if it's private access or not, but worth looking into. One other thing to note, the front caster suspension forks on these bounders are a little bit noisy. I need to reduce the tension on those a little bit so they're not quite as stiff. But I think there may be a way to put some little rubber pads or something in there to quiet them down a little bit. But that's how they sound under normal operation. All right, a little bit of an update. On really steep hills, this controller seems to surge to around 70 amps or even 79. But on gentle grades like this, it seems to max out at about 40 or 45. So I guess there's kind of a break point where it kind of stays around 40 or 45 amps until you get into something really steep, and then it steps up a little bit more. Right now we're pulling 41, 45, somewhere in there. So I think there might be hope with the taller gears. Be able to put a little bit more load on it, but the controller might compensate by spitting out more amperage. Only one way to find out. Okay, it appears as though that is not a pathway. Oh wait, maybe it is. Okay, so it says trail ends in 500 feet, but I guess there is something here. Ah, yes, there's a gate. Oh, interesting. There's that, I guess. Holy cow, listen to the frogs. That's insane. It probably doesn't translate very well on video, but this thing's moving a lot faster now. There's a lot of frogs. Oh, and according to the gauge down there, we're actually pulling less amperage than we were with those other snowblower tires. I guess that kind of makes sense. Snowblower tires are not meant for highway travel. So here we are about to go over the Telecom Crossing. It's a new bridge that was funded by taxpayer dollars, but it's not allowed to be used for vehicle traffic. It's only for transit, bicycles, pedestrians, and trains. It has some crazy RGB lighting system on it. They call it dynamic lighting. It supposedly changes with the flow of traffic or people that cross it. So supposedly in the distance, supposedly in the distance as people cross the bridge, the lighting kind of follows you, which is kind of interesting. And there's the river in downtown over there. I was trying to figure out what to do, what video to make, but I'm still kind of in the mode where just trying to chill out, de-stressify, and kind of get back to normal, as it were. There's these trails up here behind me. I think we're gonna go check those out. There does seem to be some tents set up there, so I don't know if that's like a homeless camp or what, but there's access to these trails up here. We're gonna go check that out. So there's a little gravel road over here, but there's a fence and train tracks in the way. I think this is how normally people get through there, but yeah, not ideal for me. And that wind noise is all right. But yeah, it is an actual officially sanctioned trail. You can see there's signs over there. So I think there's a spot we can get under the train tracks down here and get over to that little area there. Yeah, it's actually a dirt trail. Well, let's see where we can get to. There are a lot of mosquitoes out here. Ugh, it smells out here. So I understand that like swamps and stuff have an odor, but in Portland we've had a long time issue with storm drain runoff, because major parts of the city, the storm drain and the sewer are combined, and what would happen is it would overload the plant that's down there and everything would spill directly into the river. They've built a new plant and installed some huge pipelines that you could drive a bus through to get down to the new facility. But anytime I smell that, it still makes me think that maybe I'm not smelling swamp. So that goes over there. That ends up in a staircase. let's see what's over here. Okay, I just thought of a mod that I'm going to do on this bounder. These front suspension caster forks, there's two plates of metal right here that basically hit each other. I think what I'm going to do is loosen up the springs a little bit, and I'm going to cut a little piece of rubber and put a dampener in there, because listen, as soon as you hit a bump and the springs activate, the springs push the two metal plates back together, and you get that nice, well, that was slow. You get that nice metal slamming sound. So I think I can adjust those and then stick some rubber in there to dampen that a little bit. I mean, not only is the sound obnoxious, but slamming metal parts together may not be in the best interest of longevity. It's an interesting trail. Well, and not that two metal plates contacting each other constantly are going to really cause an issue, but I think mostly I just don't like the sound. Woo! Definitely just use the wheelie bars on that. This is kind of treacherous, I'm not going to lie. There's quite a bit of a cross slope here. Good. Got a stick down in here. Oh boy. All right, I think we're good. Last thing I need is to derail one of these chains out here in the middle of nowhere. Thank you. Now, don't get me wrong, I love this bounder. But to be perfectly honest, I would feel a lot more safe and secure on this trail if I was using the V6. It has a lower center of gravity, and cross slopes are not such an issue. I mean, I'm not as concerned with this thing tipping over necessarily, but it has a hard time keeping tracking straight, especially if you hit a bump. But that's just the nature of rear-wheel drive chairs. Wheelie time!
Wheelie time!
Uh-oh. I think this is where I get to turn around. Yeah, so that goes down, and it's narrow, and there's a cross slope. One thing you have to remember with rear-wheel drive chairs, if you're going downhill and you try to brake, the tires can slide. So we will not be going down that section of the trail. Here, let me see if I can give you a view of this. Yeah, and that ends in a swamp down there, so we'll go ahead and call that good. I'm gonna head back over the main pathways way over there past all the water. I was kind of hoping I wouldn't have to go back over this trail, but whatever. Just be careful. I just reviewed that footage. It makes it look a little more extreme than it is, although I will admit this probably isn't the safest trail to be on. But oh boy, let's get back to some level ground. These cross slopes are killing me. This here is actually a pretty good spot where I can illustrate what happens when you're going not fast, but just moving and try to stop going down a hill. Watch the back tires. And then you end up sideways like this. So if you're going down a steep hill and you have a rear-wheel drive chair, do not try and stop. Only problem is if you have bumps you're trying to get over, it might pitch your front casters in some random direction. I guess bottom line, don't be dumb. You know, to be honest, this might be a good spot not to wear a positioning belt, because if I did happen to tumble down there, I would want to be thrown from the chair as opposed to having it rolling over on top of me. Now, Magic Mobility, they're the ones that make the V6 that I have. They have a new front-wheel drive off-road chair. I would be really interested to try that thing out. I think it might work really well in situations like this off-road. It's a little bit lower, but I think front-wheel drive would be amazing for this type of thing. So if you guys are watching over there in Melbourne, and you want to send me a chair to test out, I will happily check it out for you. I don't think I'm in a position at this point to go through the local distributors, unfortunately, but because no one in Portland sells those chairs anymore. But yeah, if you want to air freight one over here, I'll keep it warm for you. Or maybe sending it on a boat would be cheaper than air freight. I don't know. All I know is back in about 1998, we sold a 1976 Cadillac Coupe de Ville to a guy in Belgium, and he bought it from us and drove it straight to LA and then had it shipped via boat back to Belgium. And it only cost $1,000 to ship a 21-foot long car all the way across the world. So I don't know if prices have changed recently, but I think a wheelchair would be a little cheaper. Just kidding, but seriously. Oh, back to pavement. Let's go check out what's going on over here. I think there might be a river walk on this side. Let's go see. It's been a while since I've had my flock or murder of crows or whatever you call them. One of the places I used to live, I fed them in my backyard, and then I moved, and it took a while to transplant them, but I was able to move them about 15 miles down the road to my new place. Let's see here. That's a picnic area. Little baby train tracks. Wonder if there's a way to get out down here. Seems to be a fence around this place. Although I did see that guy on the bicycle riding through here. Oh, wait. Yep, there's a gate over there. Oh, never mind. Well, there's a trail there, but it would be a little tricky getting back up this. I could probably do it, but I don't want to do it without anyone else around. So we'll keep looking. I might actually be trapped in here. Yeah, there is no pedestrian access here. Well, back to the other side. So the guy on the bicycle actually went down that other trail over there. That's how he escaped. But there's no wheelchair access out of here. Yeah, see, there's another guy on a bicycle cutting through over there. I think they just go down that little boat launch and then onto that trail. But anyways, we're gonna go back down here because there is another park next to this amusement place. And we'll go see what's going on there. I know they have a dock that goes out to the river. I'm pretty sure I can get on. Yeah, there's that gate that has no pedestrian access. So there's that other park down there. I don't think the trails really go anywhere, but it's something to check out at least. I'm not quite sure about pedestrian access down here. Guess we'll try this way. Oh yeah, we're good. Sweet. There's a bit of a cross slope here. I think coming back up though, if I stick to this side, I should be fine. But against my better judgment, here we go. Well, that just happened. I think it might be time to leave this dock. Okay, let's see if we can get back across this without getting stuck again. Maximum throttle. Oh. Well, that was one of the sketchier things I've done today. I keep hitting record and then not actually hitting record, so I have to do this again, but yeah, that dock was definitely interesting. It has, so the ramp comes down to the dock, and then the dock obviously floats higher or lower depending on the height of the river. Well, where the two halves meet, they have this metal plate that normally goes over there, but it's got this crazy bend to it to accommodate as the dock rises and lowers, so we won't have a piece of metal sticking up. Instead, it's like this. So as the thing goes up and down, it can kind of work. But the thing to remember is me, I've already gotten in the other chair now, but me and that chair is right around 800 pounds. And on docks that are not the best quality, I mean, there was holes in it, I realized as I got out near the end, like big planks were missing. But when you get that much weight on the end of a dock, it's gonna make it sink. And when it did that, it changed the angle of everything. When I crawled up over that plate, I went down the other side, my front casters got jammed in that space, and since half of my weight had transferred onto the other dock, it tipped down. So it was like this, and it ended up like that. And my caster wheels are right here. So what I did was I sort of like leaned back and nailed the throttle at the same time, and was able to pull up over it. But I genuinely thought I was stuck. I thought I was gonna have to get someone to like try and push me out of there. I don't even know how you do that in something so heavy. But yeah, so I went down to the end of the dock, and I was actually filming a little thing with my phone for Instagram. So all in all, that's enough sketchy exploration for one day, I think. Between that trail and the dock and fencing that you can't get through and everything. I am going to hop into the other chair though, and I'm going to take a look at the chain tension on this, because there were a few pretty good twigs, maybe about the size of my little finger, that got sucked through the chain. So I need to double check the tension on that side. And I think there might actually still be a little piece of branch that's wrapped around the axle. So I have to clean that out of there. But no, I mean, like I said, this chair is great for, you know, transportation and commuting. The thing you have to remember though is it's rear-wheel drive, it has a short wheelbase, and it's pretty tall and narrow. So if you're on an area with a cross slope and all that, you gotta watch out. But yeah, I think that's good for now.